Hello, family friends. Amber here. Frank and I have been on a carnivore journey for the past year, and while Frank has found some huge success, he has also healed a whole slew of autoimmune diseases. In addition to that, he's down 80 pounds. Myself, I have not seen the successes he has found. As a matter of fact, had some significant issues that almost cost me this lifestyle in its entirety. Just things that I wasn't prepared for. So stick around and I'm going to highlight some of those things. So if you like what we're doing here, Frank and I have got this new channel. We've also got our Family Life channel, but we've created this channel specifically for our carnivore journey. So you can come along and watch what we're up to and how we're working this through, and whether or not I stuck around on this lifestyle or not. So come and join us.
Oh, there we go.
Did you get it?
It's in.
How many wounds did you get?
I got one slice across the top of my head, but that's how far it is now from the other one.
Real life problems.
I'm in at least 3 inches further than I was when I started.
Didn't you just get that belt from Luke?
But now I'm going to have to keep hiking up my pants. So I'm good. Solid.
Hello, family friends. It is Amber. I am here on a new channel, brand new channel. I hope you continue to follow along. Frank and I are on this carnivore journey, and we just thought we would bring this content over to this new channel, just kind of isolate the content a little more, and just share what we've experienced and how this lifestyle is helping heal us, and perhaps we can share some of that with you and take some information. We are not doctors. This is just our personal experiences with the lifestyle and how it's healing us. So what you can expect from this channel is kind of just some information, some information as we start to learn it and we continue to learn it. We're both very intrigued with it and how the body changes and how all of the healing is happening. And I want to understand the science behind the why, and that is kind of, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm really intrigued with sharing some of that stuff with you. So today's video is going to be basically 5 things that almost got me to quit the carnivore lifestyle. It's not for everyone, and I appreciate that. As you know, we started this journey about a year ago. Frank is 100% committed. He has been almost. We will be celebrating 1 year, June 1st. 365 days of full carnivore for him, and he is down 80 pounds and has found so much huge success in healing. The weight, he likes to say, is just a byproduct to all of the other healing that has happened for him. Our journeys have not been linear. Like, they have not been the same. I kind of wanted to share that. He'll share his experience and I'll share my experience, and perhaps as a woman in menopause I have not had the same successes and the same experience, and so I come from a 600-pound weight loss success story. That's kind of where I want to start, and that's kind of seems, what? I don't recall ever being that big. My joke in that, with the way that I describe that, is that I've lost the same 20 pounds over the last 30 years. I have been a subscriber to the diet culture. I think I wrote in my journal one time, I think I had gotten up to about 35 different diets that I have tried over my lifetime. Obviously in the restrictive mindset, calories in, calories out concept, and just basically restrict, binge, purge. I want to be careful that I don't use the proper language, or that I don't use the wrong language, that the tubes of you kick me off before I get started. Undiagnosed, I never went in for therapy or diagnosis for any of it. I suffered through it on my own, which a lot of women do that. So unfortunately, that's kind of my story, the yo-yo experience. For me, the carnivore lifestyle is the lifestyle that I want to be able to heal that part. I started out 2025 with a very big and audacious goal, like a lot of people do, with New Year's resolutions and such. But my big goal for this year was to get control of my eating. I never really viewed it before this past year with the disorder that it really was. So I'm kind of, humbly accepting that, and so recognizing that there's some healing and some work that needs to be done in that area. The first thing that I wanted to share was the experience that almost made me quit carnivore was the keto flu. So anytime you start into this, and my experience with the keto, and Frank experienced this too, is when you are coming off of carbs, it is a total detox, and it is like you are detoxing from a drug, because carbohydrates and the glucose spikes and all of those things that are changing inside of your body, and your body now transitioning into using fat and fuel, or fat and protein for fuel rather than the easy carbohydrates, it throws your body into a massive confusion. Like, what are you doing to me? So certain things like loose caboose. I'm going to go there, guys. I mean, it is what it is. What can you say? Like, it really truly is. The food is just, you're stay close to the toilet. That's all I have to say. The other thing was the brain fog was intense for me, and it was intense for Frank as well. And my depression ended up getting worse before it got better. So there's a lot of changes, and when you start this lifestyle. So who's in? What I can tell you, and I can assure you, is this too shall pass. We are so fearfully and wonderfully made, and the Lord knows what he's doing with his beautiful body. And once we stop abusing it and allowing it to do what it needs to do, by cleaning out all of those things and kind of cleaning out the pipes, things start to work the way that they were designed to work. And that's kind of, it's just tough to get through that period. But I assure you, when you can, it's definitely worth it. Which brings me to my next number 2 that made me almost quit. And this was the oxalates. This is a hitch word, or kind of a hashtag, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of conversation around this and what this actually is. And I'm not this is not medical advice. None of this stuff that I'm going to be doing on my channel is medical advice, because I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to the science and understanding the why. Frank and I actually adopted a pescatarian lifestyle for about a 2-year period, almost a 3-year period, where all we ate was the garden vegetables that we gardened, and fish, and some chicken, periodically, like soy products like the tempehs and things like that. So we really had a lot of, we never drank dairy. We drank seed oil or seed milks like almond milk, macadamia milk, oat milk, all of those milks. We did all that in our smoothies, lots of things. So that's kind of what we did for a long time. So as a result of that, there was an overload of oxalates in both of us. So his experience with the oxalate was really radical and so bizarre. So when we were able to identify what it actually was that he was experiencing through different communities, and that's the other thing about this, guys, if you're going to start any sort of journey like this, I really do highly recommend community. I'm actually part of the SBG community, which is the Steak and Butter Gang, hosted by Bella. She is a wealth of information, and what I love about her group specifically, because I've been in other ones too, but what I like about her group specifically is that she brings on the vetted doctors, and they are there for you to ask your questions, and there's a lot of wisdom in that area, and that's where I get a lot of my information from too. So I really highly encourage that, and I'll throw that down in the show notes as well. But the oxalates was a huge issue for both Frank and I. Frank experienced his entire back rashed up one night, and it looked like little whiteheads all over his back. Like it wasn't just one, like there was thousands, like his whole back, that it just felt, they were just tiny little bumps, and he couldn't feel them. They didn't hurt him, and they weren't, but I could. When I was scratching his back one night, I was like, what is that? And then there was another experience where he had his brain, like it was the most bizarre thing. He was laying in bed, and he jumped out of bed, turned on the light, and said, oh my gosh, I think that there's spiders crawling in my head. And we had later learned in the group, talking to one of the doctors, that this was a neurological episode that was happening, that his brain was rewiring and going back online. He had muted it for so long that all of a sudden it started to refire, and it was so bizarre. And he said, like, and that lasted for about, I want to say about 10 days. And then he was able to work through that, but it was tough for him, because he was like, oh gosh, this is awful. I don't know if I can continue doing this, because I don't like how this makes me feel. And the first thing you want to do is feel normal. So you eat a carb or two. The other issue for me that I experienced was something called, when the detox happens and everything starts to expel through the body, there's a protocol that you can do that helps with the detoxing. If you have more oxalates from your diet, what oxalates are, it's an oxalic acid. That is the chemical compound found in a lot of the foods that Frank and I were eating prior to coming onto this carnivore lifestyle. We were eating a lot of oxalate-rich foods, so that's kind of why we experienced such large detox effects. And mine was plantar fasciitis. I ended up getting in the bottom of my foot, and it was painful for a long period of time. And I was able to work through that, and that took about probably 2 to 3 weeks for me to work through that. But that was the big things. The other thing that almost made me quit was number 3, was the under eating. So as I mentioned earlier, in my previous life, in my previous experience, diet culture has really messed me up. And the calorie in, calorie out concept of the theory is I just need to eat less. I just need to eat less. I have a desk job. I have a sedentary job. So if I wasn't outside in the garden or doing work around the property, I was at my desk. The only thing that I could do really truly outside of working out a lot was to reduce my eating. And so there was times when I was eating less than 800 and 900 calories a day. And so when I first started in this community, I have an aversion to counting calories and keeping track of all of that stuff because it really messes with my mind. So it wasn't something that I was intrigued in doing. This is kind of another reason why I wanted to try I wanted to adopt the carnivore lifestyle, was because of the simplicity of it. Didn't have to count the calories, didn't have to look at the macros. As long as I was eating the food until I was comfortably stuffed, I was good, and I could continue on with, life. And because I found sometimes it was just so overwhelming trying to keep track of all the macros and making sure that I was doing proper and I was allowed to eat this and I wasn't allowed to eat this, and this culture of just, what am I allowed to do? Like, there were so many rules against certain things. And rather than adopting lifestyle labels that I don't necessarily even see this as a carnivore lifestyle per se. I see it more as a low carb lifestyle, living very low carb, keeping all of those glutinous carbohydrates and those complex, I would say mostly limited. I will probably introduce the odd fruits and vegetables eventually, but for now I'm trying to just heal. And so until then, I'm going to stick to animal products. And the other thing was the under eating. I had to get a hold of that because I was so okay with fasting. I was okay with only eating OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. I was happy going all day without food. It was kind of bizarre. I never got hungry. I didn't understand it. I didn't have that satiation of wanting food. So what I ended up having to do was something they refer to in the community as either priming or reverse dieting, that kind of thing, is just to allow my body to start to eat and nourish with food, which was such a foreign concept for me. But yeah, so anyways, I ended up priming for and I'm still kind of in the stage of priming versus fasting and things like that, because my body just needs to know it can trust me again. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm trying to allow my body to start to heal through that process. And that gained me 16 pounds. Yeah. That in itself is enough for people to say, I'm out. No way, I'm not doing this. And it did that to me. It spiraled me into a massive binge. I was incredibly disappointed. Life was getting lifey. I was getting very overwhelmed, and I know I turn to food when I have emotional moments. And so I ended up diving into the ditch. And it was hard, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight and this is not working, and I was really quite disappointed in myself. I was able to come back out of that, and I was able to kind of recognize the importance of long-term health on this journey, and that's kind of where I'm at with it now today. But the other thing was the other people's opinions, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why I kind of found myself in the ditch, was wanting to try to be normal. Why can't I be normal? Why can't I have a relationship with food that is that appears to be like the rest of the world. And it was really frustrating to me because I felt like I was broken in some way, and I just didn't like that. I couldn't enjoy, because let's be real, we all are so wired to have food as a celebratory thing. It's something that we love to do. We love around food. We celebrate around food, and it's just one of those things we don't know how to celebrate somebody if they aren't eating those things. And so my birthday came around, and it was one of those things where she doesn't eat cake, so why bother? And so I kind of felt a little bit forgotten, and it was a little frustrating, but you know what, we ended up, and then I ended up eating a piece of the cake because I didn't want onlookers. I don't know, it just was, I don't know why, but I can logically rationalize why I do what I do. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's all kind of interesting to me. It's all information that I'm learning. But the other thing is everybody has an opinion, and not everybody believes that this is a healthy lifestyle. And so the way that I see it is, it's not about over consuming red meat, because that's the way a lot of people think. Like, we have been so indoctrinated to think red meat is the enemy, and the issue is oh my gosh, you're not going to get enough vitamin C, and you might end up with scurvy and all of these things, and so they don't understand the logic and the physiology behind why we are so vitamin C deficient sometimes, and we can get that in liver and heart and all of the different things that we can do to compensate those areas. But red meat is the most nutrient dense food on the planet. It's when it's combined with all of the other garbagey foods that we start to see disease happening. So when you eliminate all of those other things and you nourish your body with the most nourishing food on the planet, you start to heal a lot of metabolic diseases. And that's what we were healing, and that's what we were noticing. So it's not so much the introduction of all this red meat, it's the exclusion of all the other things. Frank and I no longer drink alcohol. We weren't really large drinkers anyways, but even we just went on a cruise recently, and we didn't even have I think we had I bought one cocktail with the intention of, I'm coming on a cruise, I'm going to have a drink, and I never drank it. I didn't even drink it. And so yeah, there's just lots of information that's happening, and we're learning a lot on this journey. But my final reason why I almost quit this lifestyle was if I'm being honest, guys, I know Frank's not here right now, but I'm going to be honest and tell you, this man has seen success beyond anything I think he could have imagined. And quite frankly, I've gained the 16 pounds I talked about, and he's down 80 effortlessly. Like, it feels effortlessly to me. He doesn't have food cravings. He doesn't emotionally eat. He doesn't have yes, he's had the oxalate and he's had all the things, but he doesn't seem to struggle with the emotional abuse that I struggle with as a woman. So I don't know if it's the menopause, if it's the hormones, the cortisol changes, the stress that I'm putting on myself because I am so worried about, the perception of making sure I'm doing what's right for me and my family. And I just feel sometimes my perceived failure has been so illuminated, if you will, by his huge success. And as much as I want to celebrate everything that he has done, and I'm his biggest cheerleader, I'm so proud of him. There's a part of me, and I'm being honest, that I haven't found that success yet. So I know that I will, and I know that I'll get there. But for now, my journey isn't about the weight. Well, actually, I focus solely on the weight. And then so I've been able to get some supports on that. So now I'm just more or less focusing on healing my body with good food. And that's where I'm at. And so, yeah, we'll continue doing that. And so hopefully, I'm pretty positive that the weight will have to start to come off at some point. The other thing too, guys, is just that, like I said, this isn't a cookie cutter approach, and everybody's experience with this lifestyle is going to be different. If you are going to go down this road, don't go into it lighthearted. It is definitely, you're going to feel worse before you feel better, and that is the ultimate thing. There's lots of things that made me want to quit, and I am so happy that, yes, I've had deviations, and yes, I've found myself in the ditch, but in those times, I continue to pull myself out and continue to get back on the road and continue to go down this journey, because I know I can see it in Frank, and I can see it in his excitement for life again. He's got a zest and he's got a zeal that I haven't seen in him for a long, long time. So it's so wonderful to see and get to witness, and I know that I'll get there too. So once I can heal the hormones, and once I can heal and heal the depression and the mental, which the food chatter and all of those things that I experience anytime I would ever do a deprivation diet, I was always thinking about, when is this over? I don't see that happening here. The food chatter stops after about 3 days of eliminating all the carbs. Anytime that I have a deviation or a binge, it constantly makes me go back into thinking about food and the next time and all of that stuff. But when I can eliminate it by about day 3, that is gone. And it's so bizarre that you don't even think about it, and you don't have a desire for it. You really just don't have the desire for it, because you're so satiated already with the other food. You just, I don't know, you just pass by the treat bucket. You just pass by all of those things. Okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And if it's okay, I can ask for you to hit that subscribe button. I really like to get the algorithm going and kind of throw some more content out there for you. And make sure you like that and hit the bell to be notified anytime that I drop a new video. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And until next time, stay safe and keep living.